Good morning, boys and girls, teachers and staff. Happy first day of school. I'm so excited for you all and all the great things you all will be doing this school year. Please remember to be nice to your teachers and staff. And thank you so much, teachers and staff, for all that you do for our students. Have a great day, Owls. Thank you. If you need anything, call the front office.
Day for the community of Coral Springs and beyond, with the Vice Mayor Mur3ered Bowen set to be laid to rest today.
Many will gather for a celebration of her life as questions still remain over her.
She didn't miss meetings. That was the thing about Mur3ered Bowen. People who knew her said she was always the first one in the room and the last one to leave. So when she didn't show up that Wednesday morning, April 1st, 2026, her colleagues knew something was wrong. They texted her. They called her. Nothing. So they reached out to her husband, Stephen Bowen. And you know what he said? He said, texted her. She's not picking up. And here is where it gets chilling. Because at that very moment, Nancy's body was upstairs in their bedroom, wrapped in blankets and stuffed inside black garbage bags. Her husband knew exactly where she was. He had put her there himself. But before we go any further into what happened inside that house, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe to Silent Crime Victims, and click that bell icon so you never miss a story like this one. Because Nancy's story deserves to be heard. It deserves to be remembered. And the more people who know about it, the better. Now let's get into it. Mur3ered Bowen was not just anybody. She was a trailblazer, a barrier breaker, a woman who walked into rooms where people who looked like her had never been welcomed before, and she made herself at home. Born of Haitian heritage, Nancy became the first Black and Haitian American woman ever elected to the Coral Springs City Commission in Florida. That was 2020. She ran again in 2024 and won again. And by the time she was killed, she was serving her second term as vice mayor. People around her said she was building towards something even bigger. Congressman Jared Moskowitz confirmed it publicly. Nancy was days away from officially announcing she was running for Congress. She was an environmental scientist by training. Before politics, she spent years working on environmental justice across Florida, helping communities recover from major hurricanes like Irma, Michael, and Dorian. She served on the Broward County Soil and Water Conservation District. She fought for people who didn't always have someone fighting for them. And she did all of this with a warmth that everyone who met her talks about. Her city manager said she was the light in every room she entered. Her mentee said every conversation with her ended with the same question. What are we going to do to help the people? And then there was Stephen Bowen, her husband, 40 years old, a licensed radiology technician working at Delray Medical Center. On social media, friends and investigators both noted he had a documented fascination with guns. He was also a Freemason, active in his lodge. By most outward appearances, the two of them looked like a power couple, a public servant and a healthcare professional building a life together in Coral Springs. But something was very wrong behind closed doors.
Day for the community of Coral Springs and beyond, with the Vice Mayor Mur3ered Bowen set to be laid to rest today.
Many will gather for a celebration of her life as questions still remain over her tragic murder. Local 10's Isabella Martin joining us live from Coral Springs with more. Isabella.
Hey, good morning. Well, it was just over 2 weeks ago that Nancy Metayer was shot and killed, police say, by her husband. Now this morning, friends, family, and the Coral Springs community are going to come to Church by the Glades to celebrate her life. This afternoon, the community will gather to say goodbye to Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer. Friends, family, and those she impacted preparing to honor her life. Details from police help piece together what happened.
Break down the door and go down, whatever means.
Ma'am, I understand that we're worried about her and we're trying to find her, but we can't just break down the door. We have to have a reason.
A desperate 911 call from family trying to get help inside her home.
I'm going to give you a reason. Okay, my nephew, her husband, came to my house this morning and told me that he did something to her.
Okay, her
husband? Is he
husband?
alive? He said no.
He's asking that he help no bond on that.
Stephen Bowen, her husband, now charged with her murder. Police say Metayer was found shot, wrapped in a comforter in garbage bags. Records show officers had been called to the home several times, one for a disturbance with some details still not public.
And who will fight to make government more accountable.
And if there were signs of trouble, those close to her say she kept them private.
What we see is the escalation happens between rounds of these different incidences of abuse. So the quicker we can get law enforcement to the scene to understand what the issue is, the more seriously we can deal with the perpetrator and the abuser.
Lawmakers now pushing for more protections, including tools that could silently alert police.
You call that number, nobody picks up. If somebody grabs the phone from you, there's nobody on the other end for them to talk to. And then the police geolocate you, and it's an emergency panic button, and they come to your house.
The viewing starts at 11:30, followed by a celebration of life at 12:30 at Church by the Glades in Coral Springs. The service will be live streamed, and family is asking for privacy inside. And again, if you'd like to come, that viewing starts at 11:30 here at Church by the Glades, with the celebration of life starting at 12:30. For now, reporting live in Coral Springs, I'm Isabella Martin, Local 10 News.
Now I want you to think about something for a second. The night of March 31st, 2026, Stephen Bowen told his mother he was having a panic attack at work. He said he was going to go home and talk to his wife about it. His own mother later told investigators she had no idea there were any marital problems between the two of them. None. So whatever was building inside Stephen Bowen, he was keeping it buried. And Nancy, by all accounts, had no idea what was coming. That same night, while Nancy was in their home, Stephen picked up a shotgun. And he shot her 3 times. And if that alone is not disturbing enough, stay with me, because what he did next is what sent this case into a completely different category of cold and calculated behavior. He used a pillow to muffle the shots. A pillow with string tied around it, fashioned into what investigators would later describe as a makeshift silencer. So this was not a moment of rage that spiraled out of control. This was planned. This was deliberate. And after it was done, after he shot his wife 3 times in their bedroom, Stephen Bowen went downstairs. And he went to sleep. I need you to really sit with that for a moment. He slept in the same house, with her body upstairs. And the next morning he woke up and started texting city officials, pretending he had no idea where she was. At 8 a.m. a text was sent from Nancy's own phone to a city staffer, listing discussion items for her morning meetings. Now investigators have not confirmed who sent that text. But Nancy never made it to those meetings. And when her colleagues started reaching out to Stephen, he played along. Texted her, he said. She's not picking up. Then later, where is she? Her car is not at home. Can you imagine? Her car is not at home. Like he was just a concerned husband. Like he had not been the one to put her body in garbage bags the night before. Meanwhile, across town, Stephen had driven to his uncle's house. And this is where the story takes its first major turn. Because Stephen Bowen walked into his uncle's home and told him what he did. He said he did something to Nancy, that she was not alive. And when his uncle pressed him, Stephen admitted he shot her 3 times with a shotgun the night before. His uncle asked him why. And Stephen Bowen looked at him and said, I couldn't take it anymore. That sentence. For words. That is all he offered as an explanation for ending the life of a woman who was days away from announcing a run for the United States Congress. A woman who had just buried her 26-year-old brother Donovan 2 months earlier. A Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting survivor who had lost his battle with schizophrenia. Nancy was grieving. She was carrying so much. And the one person who was supposed to be her safe place took her life instead.
Now at 6, family, friends, politicians, and residents packed Church by the Glades to celebrate the life and work of Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer. 2 weeks ago, Metayer was found shot to death in her Coral Springs home. Her husband is now facing charges. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray is your reporter in Coral Springs with how Metayer's legacy lives on.
Through song, prayers, and remembrance, hundreds of mourners wept, celebrating the short but impactful life of Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer.
She was my friend. And if I am being honest, I am still trying to process how we got here.
Okay, my nephew, her husband, came to my house this morning and told me that he did something to her.
2 weeks ago, Metayer was found shot to death in her Coral Springs home. Her husband of 3 years, Stephen Bowen, is charged with premeditated murder.
Growing up right here in Coral Springs.
A rising star in Florida Democratic politics, the 38-year-old Metayer, an activist, environmentalist, graduate of FAMU and Johns Hopkins, had plans of running for Congress.
Though my world feels a lot quieter, and all I have are our beautiful memories, I will carry them with me forever. She had a rare gift of making people feel known, seen, valued, and deeply understood.
A spirit these nurses say Metayer brought with her to every event.
She would volunteer if we had health fairs, for example. She would come with a smile, with a great spirit, and so it's just an honor.
And as a mother myself and a nurse, I feel for the parents.
As a light, leader, and force for change, State Representative Mur3ered urged everyone to follow in Nancy Metayer's footsteps.
Be the change she envisioned for us all. Nancy, my dear little sister, job well done.
Nancy Metayer is being remembered not for how her life ended, but how she lived. Those who know her say the city she loved is not broken, but better. In Coral Springs, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Now here is where things get even more layered. Because after confessing to his uncle, Stephen Bowen did not turn himself in. He left. He had already told his uncle he was on his way to meet an attorney. But instead of doing that, he drove to a parking lot in Plantation where he met up with a fellow Freemason from his lodge. And he handed that man a bag, a gun-carrying case, with the shotgun inside, and ammo boxes. The man later told police he had no idea what was going on. He thought they were just meeting to discuss an upcoming lodge meeting. But the moment police arrived at that parking lot, Stephen Bowen looked up and said, "Oh, they are here for me." He was arrested at 2:35 p.m. that same afternoon. And the moment police had a reason to enter the home, a SWAT team forced their way in. They found Nancy in the master bedroom on the second floor, lying in bed, her body wrapped in blankets and sealed inside black garbage bags. Shotgun shells were scattered near her body. The pillow with burn marks and string was still on the bed. Outside the home, investigators had already noticed damage to the second-floor wall consistent with shotgun blasts fired from the inside. The evidence was overwhelming. And yet when Stephen Bowen appeared before Judge Ernest Calra on April 28, 2026, he pleaded not guilty. Not guilty. After confessing to his uncle. After handing off the murder weapon. After sleeping downstairs while his wife lay dead above him. Now the legal side of this case has been anything but straightforward. The Broward County Public Defender's Office tried to withdraw from representing him almost immediately, saying members of their office had personal and professional relationships with Nancy, and that representing her killer would be a conflict of interest. Then the Office of Criminal Conflict and Civil Regional Counsel, the next in line, also declared a conflict. Two private attorneys, Glenn Rotterman and Philip Johnston, stepped in and filed the not guilty plea on his behalf. But by the time the April 28 arraignment came around, they had also withdrawn. Judge Calra ended up appointing attorney Bruce Radikoff as a temporary measure to make sure there were no gaps in representation. The next status check in this case is scheduled for May 28, 2026. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a woman who dedicated her entire life to serving others, now gone. It leaves us with a community still in mourning. It leaves us with a seat in Coral Springs that will never quite feel the same. And it leaves us with questions that I genuinely want you to think about. How well do we really know the people closest to us? How many people are walking around carrying something so dark that the people who love them most have absolutely no idea? And what does it say about the way we treat the women who give everything to everyone else? That the one place they should have been safest became the place where they took their last breath. Nancy Metayer Bowen deserved her seat in Congress. She deserved to keep fighting for her community. She deserved to keep being the light in every room she walked into. And the least we can do now is make sure her name is not forgotten. If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it made you angry the way it should, please share this video. Leave a comment below telling me what you think about this case. Like this video, subscribe to Silent Crime Victims, and click that bell so you are notified every time we bring you a story that the world needs to hear. because every victim deserves a voice. And we are not done talking.